Hey everybody, welcome back to TechOdyssey. So today I'm here to tackle a comparison video between the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5G of last year and the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3, also 5G, of this year. Now these two phones, fantastic. I totally loved the Z Flip 5G last year, my most favorite phone of 2020, going into 2021. And then this guy right here basically blew it out of the water. It's going to be really hard in this video for me not to make it sound like I'm really pulling for the Z Flip 3 because it has improved in absolutely every single possible way over the Z Flip 5G. But I'm still going to give you the 411, the info, all you need to know about both of them. But likely, if I'm going to make a recommendation at all for anyone to purchase one, it's going to be the Z Flip 3 and not the Z Flip 5G. Now that might have some of you guys saying, okay, that's all I need to know. I'm going to sign off now. Good luck to you and best of luck with your purchase decision. But it also might have some of you intrigued just to say, why is it such a big solid recommend over last year? And I'm going to talk about that. That's what we're going to cover in this video. But before we get into that, I do want to say if this is your first time stopping by the channel, thank you for being here. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. Now let's talk about the Z Flips. Just to make this easy. So the Z Flip 5G, like I said, totally loved this last year. Came in several colors, Mystic Bronze, Mystic Gray, had a black, I think a purple model. 6.7-inch screen, AMOLED display, foldable panel. They both do that. They close in because, ta-da, the screen folds in half. Like a Pac-Man. Wah, 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 wah. Anyway, so 6.7-inch, 1080p, nice screen. It wasn't the brightest outdoors, but I didn't really complain about it. It was still perfectly adequate. 8 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage, not different options, just one size fits all. One speaker, two 12 megapixel cameras on the outside here, and this 1.1-inch little display right there, which tells you the time and kind of information would scroll across. You could kind of swipe and stuff, but mostly it's just useless. And you could use it as a viewfinder for your taking pictures using the primary camera. There we go. You can see there, you could do that, and you could swipe back and forth between the primary camera and the wide angle. So, novel. This is what they did with the Z Flip, and then they did the same thing with the Z Flip 5G. The Z Flip to the Z Flip 5G was like a Snapdragon 855 Plus. They moved over to the Snapdragon 865 Plus, which I believe is a 7nm processor. Perfectly good, very powerful. 5G flagship processor chip from last year. Everything you could ask for. It was in the Note 20, Note 20 Ultra. It was also in the Tab S7 Plus, Tab S7. Very, very capable chipset. Did everything you needed it to. 10 megapixel camera on the inside, and it had this built-in screen protector, which I cleaned it thoroughly with a alcohol wipe, a lens wipe, and it still looks gross. Anyway, that's the Z Flip 5G. Totally loved it. Held up well over the last year. I didn't really have any problems other than mine developed this issue where it would make like this little popping noise underneath the screen. It looked cosmetically fine. After about 8 to 10 months, I had that problem. I had to send it in to Samsung. Fought around with them, but eventually they ended up having to cut me a check because they didn't have a replacement model to send me. But I love this phone. I liked it so much that even after they sent me the check, I bought another one. I used it as my daily driver so much of last year. Very, very good phone. So that moves us over to the Z Flip 3. Now the Z Flip 3, a lot of the things are going to sound the same, but then you're going to look at it and be like, wow, that's pretty amazing. 6.7-inch screen, but it's also brighter, it's more beautiful, and it's got a different screen protector on it. It's got a PET style. It's much sleeker, much smoother to use. It's very, very enjoyable whenever you're sliding your fingers across the screen. It does still pick up fingerprints, but not nearly as bad as those on the Z Flip 5G, and it doesn't get that nasty residue. It'll get some residue on it, but it cleans off so much easier. This one is basically like, it just gets stuck on there. It's so bad. So, same cameras, but you can see here a big difference. Like, look at the two cameras on here, and then look at the two cameras here. They're actually identical. They're the same cameras. There may be a slight improvement, if any. Likely it's negligible, and if it is, it's from computational photography. As far as I know, it's exactly the same. So, two 12 megapixel cameras, a primary, which is your wide angle, and then you get the ultra wide. You still get the 10 megapixel camera on the inside. You do get a much beefier display on the outside. You get a 1.9-inch display on the outside as opposed to the 1.1 that was over here on the Z Flip 5G. So this is a tremendous upgrade, And just looking right here, we'll go ahead and fire the camera up, take a look at that, and then we'll look at this one over here. It's like a night and day difference. So it's actually much more functional. This one, you can tap on it, you can swipe through it, you can get your notifications. You can't do any smart replies, you can't do any typing, none of that stuff. It's just a really improved notification screen that has some complications that you can do different things. You can check your weather, check your Samsung Health stuff. You can change the tracks on your songs if you're playing them. So it is better. Looking on the outside, they use some different aluminum on here, so it's actually it feels lighter, it actually is lighter, but the Z Flip 3 is actually more durable. It's got a new hinge. The hinge, I mean, it's the same, but it's made out of a different material, and it is shallower, and it's not as prominent, it doesn't stick out as much, so you've got that going for you there as well, and it just feels nice. I like it. Like the new Z Flip 3 feels like a very polished, refined new phone. It's got Gorilla Glass Victus on the outside. And then the Z Flip 5G, it was cool at the time, but this is it's just a night and day difference cosmetically, hardware-wise. The Z Flip 5G is the same as the Z Flip. They just added the 5G in there and they changed the colors a little bit. They didn't really do anything else with it. And then the Z Flip 3 is just a complete redesign in almost every way, other than the hardware thing with the cameras. So, stereo speakers in here now. You get the one downward firing speaker, and then you get the one up top. You get wireless charging at 10 watts. You get wired charging at 15 watts, which is really not that great. It's very, very slow. One thing I will give them kudos for is with this new display, it's brighter, it's more durable. It's about 80% more durable with the material that they use this go around, so I like that. Also, you get your HDR10, and it's got 120 hertz refresh rate. The old Z Flip 5G only had the 60 hertz refresh rate, which is fine. It was okay for then, and really with the 3300 milliamp battery, I was worried about getting it in the first place. And that's one thing you get with both of these phones. They still both have the 3300 milliamp battery. What I will give tremendous credit to Samsung for, I was never all that enthralled with the battery performance. I've complained about it a lot in the past, and even now. I got about 3 hours and 45 minutes to 4 hours of screen on time with the old one. And then they added an extra speaker. They added 120 hertz refresh rate. They added a brighter screen. They added lots of different stuff. Snapdragon 888 processor. I'm still getting about the same battery life. And that right there, I give credit to the Snapdragon 888, which is about 20-25% more power efficient and better on battery. So they did it. They added 120 hertz refresh rate, all these extra things, and they kept about the same battery life. I was really worried it was going to go down a lot. I thought we were going to see maybe about 3 hours of screen on time, at least average for me. I'm still getting about 3.5 hours. I've actually got 4 hours in some instances. So great job done there. It also has IPX8 water resistance, no dust resistance. There's no dust or water rating for the Z Flip 5G, but when you look at the Z Flip 3, they added IPX8 water resistance, so you can drop it in up to 1.5 meters of water for up to half an hour. You're still good to go. Don't take out in the ocean. That saltwater stuff will still eat away at the protective coating on the inside. You really don't want to take it in the pool because of the high concentrations of chemicals and chlorine and all that stuff. But sharp looking phone. I like it. I loved the one last year. It was my go-to. It was my daily driver for most of the year. I always hated when I had to test out another device because I had to put my Z Flip over on the sideline. And of course, I'm going to feel that way this year too. I love the Z Flip 3. I've really been enjoying it. It's got my primary SIM in it. It has over a week now since I got the phone. And it's great. It's a solid phone. The only complaints anyone really has or that I have is the battery. And also, we want to see the cameras get improved. I mean, yeah, the same cameras for 3 generations of phone. I know what they were trying to do, and they accomplished it. They got a big mainstream phone. Most people don't really care. I did the camera review the other day. It's still very handy, still a very capable phone. The cameras are good, and on top of that, they got it in at $999. And that's the hardest thing. Like, when you look at the Z Flip 5G, it was $1449 this last year, and that was a lot of money. I was willing to pay it because I loved it so much. I'm a tech enthusiast, but I really didn't recommend a lot of people go out and spend that kind of cash. With the trade-in deals, with the carrier financing specials, I mean, even with like AT&T and T-Mobile, a lot of them, you can trade in like a semi-decent phone and basically get one for free on bill credits. It's just, they made it so easy. Samsung really wants people to get these phones out in their hands. I can see why. I have fallen in love with it. I've had so many people that are like, I love this phone. I love this phone. I'm so glad I finally got it. It's just a real winner. I already made a video before saying I think it's going to be the phone of the year. I think from everything I can see with what tech reviewers are saying, from my experience, from what I'm seeing, from the end user experience with what people are, enjoying with using the phone, I think it's going to be phone of the year. And it's everything you could ask for. It's got a flagship specs in it, the same as the S21 Ultra. Yeah, it doesn't have the same cameras, but it's got the same processor. It's got 8 gigs of RAM. You can get 128 or 256 gigs of storage. You get 7 different color options, so you can kind of pick your fancy there. The only thing that gets me is there are some colors that are cheaper and only come in the 128 gig storage. Like, I love this cream color, but you can't get it in the 256. So I love this color so much, I went with the 128. And I've got a couple different cases. I've got a Samsung cover case with the loop and the ring. I reviewed that one. I like that a lot. This is my Rinky Slim case. I've been using this one because it allows me to show off the phone. And it's just a solid device. It's got everything you could ask for. It would be nice to have better battery. Maybe next year we'll get an upgraded camera setup. Maybe we'll get DeX. It doesn't have DeX still, and that's a big complaint from a lot of people. None of the Z Flips have had DeX. And I really think, and I've had this conversation with quite a few people, a lot of people really go out and buy this cosmetically. They like it. They like the whole flip thing. It's got some software improvements. It's got the flex mode where you can have different apps forced that only show up on the top screen, so you can enjoy using it kind of like a TV monitor, prop it up, use it as a tripod. I give it 2 thumbs up. I love the Z Flip 5G, but at this point, with the new one being $999, it undercut last year by $450. You can find some of these out on resale for about $400, $500, $600. Amazon renewed is about $750. But if you're going to spend $700, $800, just buy the new one. It's going to be so much better. It's got new, better 5G bands in it, better construction, better durability, better sound, better screen. It's got better everything except for better cameras. So that's pretty much it in my comparison. Again, the Z Flip 5G was great last year, but this one has improved the Z Flip 3 in so many ways that it basically makes the Z Flip 5G obsolete. If you've got one, if you don't want the 120 hertz refresh rate, if you don't want the bigger screen on the outside, and that's the other thing, I wish that maybe next go around with the Z Flip 4, then we'll get a screen that we can actually reply from, or at least a model that we can like type on, kind of like with the Motorola Razr. That would be nice, instead of just a big glorified notification screen. But looking at the big improvements, I really can't recommend the 5G to anybody. I can't recommend the Z Flip 5G. If you've got one and you don't want to upgrade, you can definitely get another year out of the Z Flip 5G, probably even 2 years. See what happens with the Z Flip 4, but most places you can trade in the Z Flip 5G and you can get the Z Flip 3 for like $200 or $300, or you can get it for free in some instances. So really, to me, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's just a matter of whether you want to hold on to it and see what happens next year, or if you want to be an early adopter and hop on now. But this is the most complete, best folding phone, I think, out on the market right now. I think it shows. I think people have really been drawn to it. And it's a winner. And that's all I got to say. So that's all I got for this comparison video. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section. I'll get back with you. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.